Mike, thanks for joining us. So you see very much what we're talking about here in terms of the rollout and some of the issues with it. What do you think people need to do to improve the outcome?
Thanks first, Kelly, for having me. So it's kind of interesting. So the numbers that, obviously we've all been seeing is that we've had about 2.5 million folks that have been vaccinated since December 14th. We've distributed about 11.5 million doses of the vaccine. There seems to be obviously a disconnect between it, being distributed to the states and then actually being implemented into the patients. We think that, quite frankly, we've got to do a better job of bringing more capability online, meaning we've got to improve the communication between the public health officials in the states and the caregivers who are actually giving the vaccines. Let's make that cleaner. Secondarily, is if you think just about pure numbers, right? So if we've done about 2.5 million vaccines over the last couple of weeks, that means we're doing somewhere around 200,000 a day. We know that we're bringing on 200 million vaccines in the first quarter, 200 million doses of the vaccine in the first quarter. That means we're going to have to figure out a way to ramp up to doing 2 million, almost 10 times the amount of vaccines that are actually being implemented today. We're going to have to figure out a way to do that in the future. I've been on calls with various executives of our healthcare systems, and quite frankly, they think that we need to also, bring the CVSs and the Walmarts and the Walgreens into the picture to help us with obviously dispensing the vaccine as well.
Absolutely. And I mean, just so people kind of get the scope of the challenges here, you have a 5-point plan. You just mentioned some elements of it, but I look at supply chain issues, the transparency stuff that you mentioned, diversifying production, and all of these different things, Mike. There's no way we can speed this up in the near term.
Yeah, a couple things. First of all, as you alluded to the 5-point plan, that's more broadly, as we think about the supply chain. We've got this big issue in 2021, but if you look back in 2020 and what kind of got us here, you hit a few of them. I mean, one of the things is that from an FDA perspective, we need to have much better transparency on where just supplies in general and generic drugs in general are being produced. We have way too much dependence, specifically on China and other places in Southeast Asia. We've got to diversify the production of those products to other areas. We've got to do more domestic manufacturing of those products, and we've got to use technology more effectively. So, to understand where we have, potentially shortages that are occurring, and become hyper vigilant to identify those shortages, and then obviously, increase production to ensure our citizens have access to products.
And to your point, it's not as if we have to do all of these things overnight, but certainly even figuring out just how to distribute this more quickly is going to be a big, big effort.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.